So today, we're going to dive into a miracle that was so much more than just a healing. It was really an announcement, a single powerful act that showed everyone who Jesus was and what he was here to do. Let's get right into it.
All right, so let's set the scene. Our story starts with a man who is in a state of just absolute desperation. He's trapped. He can't see, he can't speak, and he's tormented. I mean, it is a truly hopeless situation.
Now, it's really important to get this next part. In that first century world, they didn't see this as three separate problems. They saw the spiritual affliction as the direct cause of his physical issues. A destructive force was literally stealing his sight and his voice, cutting him off from everything.
I mean, just take a second and try to imagine this man's life. He is completely locked away inside himself. He can't see the world, he can't communicate with anyone in it. But it was even worse than that. This condition made him a total outcast. No friends, no work, no worship. He was just trapped. And right there, at that point of absolute impossibility, the whole story just pivots. Everything changes in a single moment of encounter. This helpless man is brought face to face with Jesus. And this is the turning point.
So what happens next is just, well, it's astonishing. Because Jesus doesn't just fix one thing. He brings about a complete and total restoration. In one single act, he deals with the spiritual and the physical, which means you get two incredible miracles happening at the exact same time. And the way it happens is so direct and so powerful. The sources tell us Jesus goes straight to the root cause, the demon, and he casts it out. And the result isn't slow or gradual. No, it's immediate. The second that spiritual oppression is gone, his sight and his speech just come flooding back. His entire world is given back to him in an instant.
Now, the people who saw this, they were floored, just in total shock. And their reaction tells you everything. When they say nothing like this has ever been seen, they mean it. This wasn't just another healing. This was something completely new, something that resonated deep in their history and their hopes.
So you gotta ask, right? Why were they so amazed? What was it about this specific miracle that just blew their minds? Well, the answer is hiding in plain sight, in ancient prophecies that everybody in that crowd would have known by heart. They were seeing a connection being made right then and there between their present and their past.
You see, hundreds of years before this, the prophet Isaiah painted a picture of what it would look like when the Messiah came. And look at the specific signs he told them to watch for. The blind will see, and the mute will speak. This wasn't some vague promise. It was a very specific checklist.
And when you put them side by side like this, it's just undeniable. On the left, you have the ancient promise, and on the right, you have what just happened. It's a perfect one-to-one match. The people in that crowd weren't just seeing a cool miracle. They were watching their own scriptures come to life. And this is where we get to the real heart of it all. The point of this miracle wasn't just to heal one person or even to fulfill one prophecy. This whole event was the setup for one of the most important things Jesus ever said about his mission.
And there it is. Jesus just connects all the dots for them. He says, look, if you see me doing this, if you see me defeating these powers of darkness, it means something huge. It means the kingdom of God, the reign of God, isn't something you have to wait for anymore. It's here. It has arrived.
You know, that one sentence completely reframes everything. This healing suddenly becomes a moment of cosmic importance. Jesus is basically saying, my power over evil is the proof, it's the evidence that God's rule is actively breaking into this world to take it back. It's not a passive hope, it's an active invasion.
So when we hear that phrase, the kingdom of God, it's easy to think of a place on a map, right? With borders and a capital city, but that's not what Jesus is talking about. He's describing a new reality, a dynamic force, God's active rule breaking into our history to push back darkness and to start making all things new.
So this miracle wasn't just an announcement about what was happening right then. It was also this incredibly powerful signpost, pointing to the kind of future that God is creating. So if we just boil it all down, this one single event is working on three massive levels. First, it's proof of Jesus' identity as the Messiah. Second, it shows that God's kingdom isn't just a future idea, but a present power. And third, it's a sneak peek, a preview of the ultimate restoration of everything.
In the end, healing this man wasn't just a spectacle for the crowd to wonder at. No, it was presented as concrete evidence, tangible proof that the world had fundamentally shifted. A new reality, the beginning of a new creation, was officially underway.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question, doesn't it? That crowd 2,000 years ago saw a man's sight and speech restored and knew it was a sign of God's kingdom arriving. So if that same new reality is still breaking into our world, what are the signs we should be looking for today? What does restoration and new creation look like right here, right now?